The while loop is the second of two loops available in Python. Unlike the for loop, the while loop will loop until a condition is false. Think of a while loop like a set of traffic lights. While the light is green, traffic will continue to drive through until a condition tells the traffic to stop, such as a red light. This is how while loop works. It will continue to execute a set of instructions until a condition tells it to stop. Let's say, for example, we have a variable named var which equals 0. For a while loop, we need a condition, say var less than 5. This is the condition that will tell the loop to stop. While var is less than 5, the while loop will run, executing whatever is written within the loop. Therefore, the var variable needs to increment, meaning it needs to increase with each loop, or the loop will continue to execute with no end, causing Dynamo to crash. So for example, if we increment the variable by 1 each loop, the loop will run 5 times before ending when the condition is no longer true. So let's jump back into Dynamo and try creating our own while loop. In a new Dynamo file, start by placing a new Python script and opening it up. To create a while loop, let's start by creating our control variable, which will be used to control when the while loop stops, and an empty list to append to. Let's call these var which equals 0 and output for the empty list. To create a while loop, we start with the keyword while, followed by the condition that will cause the while loop to stop. For example, let's use var less than 5. This condition can be anything that will eventually evaluate to false. As this is a statement, the while loop line ends with a colon, and then any code that we want to execute as part of this loop is kept within the indent after the colon. For now, let's just simply append var to our output list. Before we output this, we need to increment our var variable. So on the next line, let's add in var equals var plus 1. This is very important, as if the control variable does not change, the condition will always evaluate to true, and therefore the loop would continue to go indefinitely. The var variable is also known as a global variable. This means it's created outside of the loop, and updating inside of the loop will update it in the wider script. So let's go ahead and output our output list and hit run. Great, so you can see that we've created a list of numbers, which is the var variable being appended to our list and updated, stopping before it hits 5. While loops are particularly useful when we want to test a condition until a certain result has been found. Say for example we had a straight column which we wanted to tilt, but we were unsure of how far to tilt it while staying under a certain length. Let's try solving this using a while loop. Go ahead and reset the var variable and output lists by reassigning them to 0 and an empty list. This time though, let's set var to 1, as this will be the starting distance to move the top of the column line. Then let's create a line to represent the column. To do this, we first need 2 points, P1 and P2. Let's use the by coordinates method. The first one will be 0, 0, 0. And the second one will be 10 units in the Z direction. Then using these 2 points, let's create a line by using the line.byStartPointEndPoint method. We'll use the variable line, then byStartPointEndPoint, using our 2 points as the parameters. Let's check if our line has been created by outputting line and hitting run. Perfect. There's our line in the graph. So let's start a while loop to check how far we can tilt that column line in the X direction until it reaches a certain length. That length will be 15. So let's use while line.length less than 15. If this is true, let's start by appending that line to the output list. Next, we need to create a new point which will be incremented by 1 so that we can test the next condition. This will be point 2, which will move in the X coordinate. So on the next line, let's reassign point 2 to be a new point by coordinates using var for the X coordinate and 10 for the Z coordinate. Then let's use this to reassign line to be a new line by start point endpoint, using P1 again, and now our updated P2 for the second parameter. Then we need to increment the var variable by 1. A shortcut to do this is by using the plus equal symbol. This means add the value to itself plus the value on the right. So var plus equal 1. This essentially means var equals var plus 1. So what our loop is doing is first checking if it is less than 15, it will append that line to the output list, then create a new point which is incremented by var. This is then used to create a new line, and var is incremented by 1. So let's run this and see what we get. You can see we're only outputting line. Let's output the output list to see all the iterations and save changes. Perfect. We have incremented and created a new line with the new point in the X direction until the line has almost reached 15 units. While loops are best used when we don't know how many times we need to loop and a certain trigger will stop it. For loops, on the other hand, require a set list to iterate over, so the number of items are known before the loop starts.